Hello, and welcome to this week's mini training where in 20 minutes or less, I give you tips, tricks, strategies, and actionable content that you can go and use in your business to make money, grow your fan base, and get exposure. So if you're watching this on the replay, please go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. Show the love, and so you never miss an episode, and also interact with me. Comment, let me know what you think about these trainings because they're for you. These are things that you tell me that you want to learn how to do. And if you're here live, that is awesome. I'm interacting with you all the time and you get to ask questions. So thank you for that. This week, we're going to be talking about how to make Amazon pay you additional royalties. Wow. Isn't that amazing? Last weekend, we talked about Alexa skills and flash briefings, and I'm still so jazzed about that. You're going to be hearing more about that from me for sure. Isn't Amazon just amazing? I mean, I started publishing books, self-publishing books in 2010, 2011, and it was a really great time to get involved with Amazon and publishing books because you can literally write a book on anything, and it was so hard not to make money. It was so hard. These days it's a little bit tougher because of the competition. The marketplace has really changed because of the competition. So what happens is that the cream rises to the top. So anytime you want to write a book now until forever, you're going to have to be producing very high quality books, unique books, books that are saying something different, bringing some new perspective, bringing just a new thing to the world that people haven't already heard and seen already. You can't just recreate something that's already out there or be a copycat because people aren't going to fall for it anymore. And whereas you used to be able to just do that and you would make sales, the customers are getting savvier, and the playing field is, going up and up and up, as we can see. Amazon is still awesome because it's like a place where you can put your creativity in all different formats, in digital format, like written format, product format, right? So if you create a product, if you have an invention, or maybe you resell some type of product, create something like a graphic product, graphical, is that a word? Graphics though, like a painting or a canvas or a photograph. You can sell on Amazon. You can sell clothing on Amazon. You can sell so much on Amazon, and it's a real benefit to anyone who sells anything because Amazon obviously brings the heat. They bring us people. We don't have to go and find those people ourselves. They'll just go to Amazon and they'll kind of just come to us, which is really nice. And this week, we're going to be talking about how Amazon's going to pay us royalties with another form of content that we can create, and that is audio content. Especially if you're a content creator, if you're an author, a book writer, whatever, it makes so much sense to have your book in the audio format. You've already done all the hard work, right? You've already written the book, and now just take the next step to get your book in an audible format. A lot of the times, and I'm sure you've seen this when you're going to buy books, and just the manner of buying books as a book buyer is really interesting these days, meaning you have so many different options on how you can consume that content. Do you want the physical book? Do you want the Kindle book? Both the physical and the digital? Or do you want to listen to the book now, right? That's another option. And sometimes when you're buying the book, Amazon gives you kind of like a deal, right? They say, oh, get the audio version for, $5 more or however much it is, right? And there are a lot of people that actually opt to get the audio version of your book. And now, because Amazon now owns the audiobook component, it's so easy for them to just have a nice bundle together, so that people are now not only buying the Kindle book or the physical book, but they're now adding on as an add-on that audiobook when they don't really feel like maybe reading, or they want to switch back and forth. There are people that only prefer buying audiobooks. They won't even look at the book or look into buying a book if the audiobook isn't available. I used to be one of those people, actually. I only used to listen to books. The only way I really consume books is through my phone. I'm not one of those people who buy physical books anymore, just because I don't have the room for it. And I do a lot better, for me personally, I do a lot better reading on my phone than I do an actual book. There are those people who will get that bundle or just get the audio version of the book. Now, I did a training this week with Derek Depker. He is like the genius when it comes to creating audiobooks. He just figured it out one day, and this was years ago. I remember working with him and discussing this with him. He's an awesome person. He's a best-selling author, and he teaches really, really great stuff. And he actually goes through the statistics on like how the numbers are growing when it comes to audiobooks. He also says that this is like the cutting edge time. Now, the cool thing that he talks about in the workshop that we did at debjum.com/listen now was the fact that he said one of his best practices when he writes a book is actually to read it out loud. And he reads it out loud to catch errors that even when he reads it silently and when an editor reads it, those errors are missed. He always finds errors when he reads the book out loud. So what about syncing those two tasks together? Reading your book out loud to catch any mistakes, and also reading it out loud to get the audio version of your book. Very smart, right? And he also talks about how you can actually, on a low budget, record your audio yourself. If you are going to hire somebody to do the audio for you, well, you're hiring somebody, and then you have to pay for that, right? And he says that is a good idea if you think you're going to make your money back, which you probably will if you have the audio version of your book. But it might be way more beneficial for you to record the audio yourself, because you have much more of a connection with your audience when they're actually listening to your voice and not a narrator's voice. Can you remember a book that you listened to that was read by the author versus a narrator? And I can tell you both sides of it. And I'll tell you where it really makes a difference, okay? I prefer listening to audiobooks by the author when it's like some kind of nonfiction or autobiography. So my favorite audiobook of all time was Sarah Silverman's, I don't remember the exact title, but it was about like her being a bedwetter when she was growing up. It was so powerful because she told all her own stories. She read her book. If somebody else was reading her book, yeah, it might have been funny, but it was much more funny because it was from her own voice. It was like she was talking to me. And I would walk around, get exercise, and listen to Sarah Silverman crack me up whenever I listened to her book. If I'm listening to like a fiction book, or maybe it's a book where I'm not like quite so sure who the author is, or I'm not as close to the author, or don't know like their personal story or whatever, it might not make as big of a difference or impact. But as I say that, it's kind of interesting, because if I didn't know the author too well, and then I listened to that author tell me a story or read their book and tell their own experiences, how much closer would I feel to that author if that was in his or her own voice rather than a narrator's voice, right? So you can see the power of this almost immediately. If you do it yourself, Derek tells you how you don't have to spend a ton of money on equipment. You don't need to hire any fancy studios or anything like that. You can just do it in the comfort of your own home, and he tells you how to do it. He actually shows you on the webinar how to do it step by step. And then, of course, he offers a way that you can do it with him, and he actually checks your work before you record the whole thing to let you know if it's good or not. Okay, so I would definitely check out that workshop that we did, debdrum.com/listen now, and you will see that training. It was really good. If anything, you could just see how awesome Derek is, and how he just created his system and making Amazon pay you additional royalties. It's a no-brainer to get your content onto Amazon in all formats, in the Kindle format, which is the digital format, in the print format, which is the physical format, and now the audio format. Such a no-brainer. I highly recommend it. One more thing I'm going to leave you with before we go is that you can create the audio version of your book and just give it away. You can have that as a free gift to grow your list. What an amazing deal, because then people don't have to buy it. The people who want the audio version, all they have to do is opt into your list. You're growing your list, and now they listen to your audio, they get connected to you, they hear your voice, and it's like magic. So thanks everyone for hanging out today. It's been so much fun. I'll see you on the next training, and thank you so much for joining me today.